Alright, this is going to be a review for the Yale Assure Lock touchscreen version from Home Depot. And gonna be replacing just a standard door deadbolt and letting you know how the install goes and how it's all set up. Opening the box. Really nice looking box. And have the get started guide and instructions here in the top. Talks about making it a smart lock. Okay. Some basic setup. Okay. The wiring. Kind of waterproof rubber gasket it looks like. And down inside here, they actually send it with batteries. Just some generic alkaline batteries. Hardware component box. And then the interior portion with the chip. Okay. And that looks like everything. So I'll get situated and show you some of the everything out of the box here. Comes with the instructions, and they advertise using the Built app, which I'll show you in just a minute, to help with the instructions if you don't want to follow the paper. There's also for marking a new door, but our door already has a hole, so I won't need to use that. The main unit I showed you before in the batteries, and then here's what was in the components box, the hardware box, the keys, all your screws, strike plate, and the deadbolt itself. So I'll show you the Built app for Android. I downloaded it from the Google Play Store, and you can see there's a search for product option that you can tap on, but I actually already added it to my stuff. And it's the Yale Assure Touchscreen YRD226. And when you go to that, you have the opportunity to register, add your receipts, or use the installation options. So if I start that installation,
will assist you with installing of the Yale Key Touch.
You can see that it is a virtual thing that we can zoom in and out, move around. It talks to you. If I skip a few steps, it shows you even how to take out the existing hardware. I'm going to mute this for now. And shows you the size it has to be, your strike plate. And as you just keep going through, you can see that it shows how to put in the new deadbolt, how to put in the Yale itself. So really handy little app that shows you every individual thing that you're going to need to do. So nice little extra app, not really part of the Yale, but it's my first experience actually getting to use the Built app. So it's kind of nice to see this and how it works. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is remove this strike plate using just the screwdriver to take out these two screws. And then I'm also going to be removing just the deadbolt here. So from the inside, I'm going to remove these two screws. Kind of have to put that in a middle position, as well as the screws that are over here on the outside. I've got the deadbolt screws loosened on the front as well, and just wanted to show you taking this off. Really simple. Once you get the screws out, two parts here, and there goes the other part. That's what happens when you're recording with one hand. And then that inside deadbolt just comes right out. So that's what you're left with. And then on the outside here, you can see I have a fairly large strike plate. And the one that comes with the Yale was not going to line up with the screws or with the hole. that's already there. So I'm actually going to leave my current strike plate just because it fits nicer. And you can see the color is so similar, no one will notice. Next part, we need to actually put in the actual new deadbolt from Yale. And with that, they provide this handy dandy little gauge, or if I line it up with the center of my door, it tells me if I'm an E or an F are okay for this Yale lock in it. So I'm an E, and knowing that, it shows that I am a 2 3/8 back set, so the lock should be fully in. If I am a 2 3/4, I can adjust it. So mine is 2 3/8, but I wanted to go ahead and show you. Here's what it looks like. And if I needed a 2 3/4, you push this little button on the bottom right here. Push that pretty hard, and then should slide out to 2 3/4. Since I'm 2 3/8, I can just push that button, slide that back in. Okay, and then it's just going to get installed in here. It says, if I can get it to focus on the right spot, up, so you know what direction goes up. Push that in all the way and add your screws. Deadbolt's in. In our next couple steps, I'm going to try to do one-handed. We'll see how it goes. See, I have a piece of tape up here. Our next step is to put on the outside lock portion. Make sure that rubber gasket is on there. It should be on there. Sometimes it comes a little loose. And then we're going to insert it through the outside. And the wire will pass through, and then you can see the rectangle in the middle there. And that's actually going to be where that metal plate goes. That's actually what activates your deadbolt. The reason I put the tape on there, the outside won't stay without the support screws, but I use a piece of tape as a second set of hands, so I don't have to sit there and hold it. So I'm going to see if I can feed this through here one-handed, looking through a phone camera. So there's our cord, and then I'm going to line up. Okay, so that's going through there, and then on this side, okay, just pushing that on, making sure it's all the way through, seated properly. Yep, holding in place, and then I can use my tape to just go across this, so I don't have to hold it. Okay. So then our next part is to put on the strike plate. Okay, and again, we've got this metal slot, and on the bottom here, it's going to be kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get the light on. There we go. On the bottom here, there's a black plastic piece again, and that is where the metal slot needs to go into. And then on the front of the strike plate, it says cable hole. So that cable hole is supposed to go on that little slot there. So I'm going to feed that in, get that cable where it needs to go, and then try to get that metal slot into there. So it's going to sit there, and that will kind of sit, but then you can see the two holes. Those two holes line up straight through, and I'm going to add these screws that they gave, and that's what will actually hold it all together. I got the plate on. See the two screws that I added, cables coming through. So the next part is to attach the inside lock portion. So I went ahead and loosened this top screw so that the battery plate comes off. The reason you have to do that ahead of time, there's one screw down here at the bottom to put on, and then there's two screws inside of the battery plate. So I'm going to connect the cable into the cable attachment, okay, that you can see right here. And then I'm going to make sure that the slot fits onto that slot, and then that'll sit right on top, and I'll add the screws in the 3 screw locations, and it's the 3 smaller screws that are sent. So have it installed. You can see the 2 screws inside the battery compartment, and then the 3rd screw down below. Next part is just check and make sure, yep, it's working. Okay, so then we'll install the 4 batteries.
Welcome to Yale Real Living.
All right, so it's on, and then the next part is to turn on the front and begin setting up the lock. Walk through the setup process now that it's installed. So just
Register master code. Press the gear key to continue. Enter a 4 to 8 digit PIN code. Press the gear key to continue.
So I'll put in a code. And then gear.
Registered. Factory reset completed. Touch the keypad for handing lock.
All right.
Handing lock completed.
So that's the basic setup. From there, you can follow the instructions to set up entry codes for other people or for yourself. I suggest not using your main code as an unlock code, setting shorter ones, and that main code that I just set up to have a little longer one to keep it secure. So that's been the install of the Yale lock. You can look on the Home Depot review I made to see how I feel about it after using it for a couple weeks.